Hey Ben, this is me, Bryce.
Bryce, what's up, dude?
Obviously, it's a lot that's going on. I remember we talked about the whole midlife crisis with progressives when it comes to, you know, you got, of course, I understand how, of course, Nick feels, Brandon feels, Anoa, Jimmy Dore, others feel, Sam Cedar, a lot of people, all of it, and it's like a back and forth of, okay, we got to pounce on the Democrats, we got to pounce on the bomb mistakes, we got to pounce on all these issues. And I tremendously understand and respect all of that. And as a progressive, I tremendously understand it's important. But it's hard to say this. I think it's time that we have to kind of we're not letting nobody off the hook, but we're just pushing it to the side so we can make sure that this man doesn't blow up the whole world. We gotta fight, and we gotta fight, and we gotta do what we have to do. We gotta push aside some things just for a few minutes, because Hillary not in the picture no more.
Yep.
Obama not in the picture no more.
Nope.
It's Trump.
Yep.
We got to deal with this. And it's not about fear-mongering or getting caught up in any nonsense. And, we'll see what Congress does. We'll see what, if there's going to be any bite back or whatever, or they'll try to impeach him, whatever.
Yep.
I understand all that. It's not about fear-mongering. It's just that the stuff that he's doing is going to not only fuck up the country, but it's just going to collapse. That's just stone cold facts. And I think that we need to just try to save, in the sense of a democracy, even though we're technically really a republic, trying to get to a democracy in the sense, especially as progressives. But we need to stop the nonsense that's going on with this administration, get it under control, get it out of there, and then do everything else that we have to do.
Yeah.
Yes, we still got to be hard on what we got to be hard on, but we got to do what we have to do, because we can't allow these things to continue.
Well, Bryce, I agree with you. I probably agree with you at about a 80% level. Here's where I disagree with you. No. Let me start where I agree. I agree with you because some of it's not petty. I'm not going to regard it as petty, but I don't have time. I don't have time for the Sarah Albrights, whatever the hell her name is, of the world. Sally Albright. I don't have time for that. I don't have this time for these petite these I was going to say petite bourgeois, but actually they're just kind of irrelevant actors who are there trying to increase their notoriety by relitigating the primaries. I don't have time for it on the neoliberal side, and I don't have time for it on the progressive side. I don't have time if your initial approach is to say, oh, but if it was Hillary Clinton, it would have been just as bad. Really? Is that what we're still going with? Okay. I want you to think about that question, right? I want you to think about that statement. Like, we're getting ready to blow up the deal with Iran expressly so that they can have another war, right? Yeah, we're getting ready to get into a trade war with Mexico. our number one or number two trade partner. We're getting ready to get in the trade war, all for the ego of Donald Trump. Right? So I don't have time to litigate these issues on, and I think this is what the caller was saying, like on within progressivism. Not right now. I can I'll put a pin here, and I'll see you in about 3 years when it's time for us to run some primaries, right? Because in the meantime, we got Donald Trump, who is literally willing to see the world burn for his ego. And we have people like Paul Ryan, whose entire fantasy is to be able to strip the government of having any capacity to help anyone who doesn't already have. This is the world that they are willing to build on our backs. So from that perspective, I agree with you, caller, with Bryce. I agree with you. Now, here's where I disagree with you. If we have leaders who are not up to the task of resisting and resisting for real, they got to go too. If you're only resisting with flowery speeches and then you turn around and vote for somebody who supports, and at this point, we're talking about the entire Democratic Senate, right, including Bernie Sanders, right? At this point, we're talking about all of them. Like, you have all these powerful speeches, but then you turn around and vote for Ben Carson. A caller asked me about this on Monday or Wednesday, I forget what day, and I really was not ready to have that conversation yet. But yeah, at this point, if you are not going to actually lead the resistance, we don't need you. We don't need you and we don't want you. So, yeah, if I have to oppose you in order to properly oppose Donald Trump, if I got to steamroll over your ass just to get to Donald Trump, then by all means, if you're sitting around telling us to be respectful to the office and you're telling us to, don't be angry and you're telling us to moderate our tone, I'm going to tell you to kiss my ass and get the hell out the way. So I agree with you up until the point where they are an impediment to the resistance. Hell, they even got me reconsidering Keith. Oh, Donald Trump is so fucking crazy. He's got me reconsidering Keith Olbermann. As crazy as that man has become, as propagandistic as he has become, what I'm going to do, sit around and complain about propaganda while Donald Trump is engaging in silencing the media? I mean, you see, here's the problem. Donald Trump has had the opposite effect. I think people thought Donald Trump was going to come in and unify people around progressivism. Nah, Donald Trump has come in and in the first 3 days, 3 full days of the work week, or 4 days now, in the first 4 days, he has become so wild that we actually take a step back and say, maybe Hillary wasn't that bad. I mean, this is how bad Donald Trump is. And then you still have those purists who are like, oh no, Hillary would have been just as bad. Yeah, okay. See me by Monday. See if you're saying the same thing by Monday, not in 2 years, by Monday. And this does not absolve any of the neoliberals of their issues. It doesn't absolve any of them. It doesn't absolve Obama. It doesn't absolve anybody. But you know what? You got to be able to fight the fight that's on hand right now. And we thought this was going to be somehow, and Democrats thought this too, that this was going to be somewhat business as usual. This was going to be somewhat Donald Trump comes in and he's going to get his agenda across. He's going to do some legislative actions. He's going to screw America, right? We figured that much. He was going to screw progressivism. We figured that much. Little did we know that he was going to come in and as much as he possibly could, censor and silence and just completely have a blackout. I mean, just completely obliterate every notion we have of freedom of the press, or at least he's trying to the extent that he can actually get it done. The very first thing Donald Trump did Saturday morning after the inauguration was to call the National Park Service. I believe this is according to the Washington Post. Call the National Park Service and force them and say, find me pictures of the crowd to support what I'm saying, and to come down hard on them for putting out pictures that were not complimentary to his what he visioned the crowd to be. For the sake of his ego, this man is willing to watch the Constitution burn. And he's got a bunch of yes men around him, spineless, backboneless, yellow-bellied, opportunistic, but mainly bitch babyish men around him who are too afraid to lose their money and lose their job, so they're willing to say yes to anything he says. Yeah, but Hillary Clinton was going to still bomb. Yeah, so Donald Trump is bombing them and then banning them from coming to the United States. Like all these people who are saying, yeah, but what has Hillary Clinton signed? Now, she can stay gone off the political record. I don't really care to see her ever again in the politics of America, right? But using her as a way of giving cover to what Donald Trump is doing, I consider you as much an enemy of the state as I consider Donald Trump. All that but and shit, have you looked at the list of executive orders that he's signed since Monday? No, I'm sorry, since Friday. Have you taken a look at all the ways he has directly lied to the American public? Right? Have you taken a look at all the ways he's trying to silence the press? We'll talk about Steve Bannon in a second.